back to the Pull Podcast. I am your host, Big Jack. Today with us, we have the very funny Chad Daniels. Chad, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, my pleasure, man. My pleasure. A little bit about us, in case you don't know too much. We deal with real stories, raw struggles, powerful comebacks, things of that sort. Really interested in getting guests on that have a sobriety in their story. You've been public and have said a few things in your stand-up before that mention sobriety and things of that sort. And so, kind of curious about what prompted you to make that choice.
Okay, well, I wasn't sleeping that well, and I was getting. I told you out there, when you start drinking, you have that drink, and it's like to start the party, and you're just like walking, and you're like, hey, what's going on? Smile on your face. I lost all that. So when I was drinking, it immediately put me in a bad mood. I'd be in like a flop sweat. I just felt like shit. And so I go, what am I doing? I was out in Mesquite, Nevada with my high school buddies. We were golfing. And I got drunk April 8th of 2024, just hammered till 4 a.m. We go out and golf the next day. It is 85 degrees. It's perfect. I'm with my high school buddies. And instead of hanging out and enjoying the time, I was just such a bitch. And so I was like, this is it for me. I'm done. And, and I have addiction in my family. I have all this stuff. And I go, I'm just going to see what it's like. I'm just going to take a little break because I don't feel good. I wake up, I'm 50 years old now. So a hangover takes a week. Yep. And I was like, I'm just not into it. So I'm going to see what happens. I'm just going to take a month off. Took a month off. I'm like, holy shit, this is different. I have this like whoop thing around my wrist, and it was telling me like, with the ring, yeah, right. And so it's all of a sudden I'm sleeping better, all my metrics are better, and I go, all right, well now I'm going to add a little exercise to this, and I'm gonna see what I feel like next month. And then it's been 16 months and some change. I don't know exactly, but and I feel so much better,
right?
And I'm not. Here's what's really, and I don't mean this as a dig to anybody in my past, but I think that I have found a reality that I want to be in all the time. Right? I don't want to leave. Somebody buys a nice house, and they go, "Well, why would I go on vacation and spend money? I got this awesome house that I like, and all my shit's here." Well, that's kind of how I feel about my reality now. It's like, I don't need to get drunk or get high or anything because I really like my life.
That's a really cool analogy. I like that.
And so it's like, I want to be in, everybody talks about being present and all that shit, but I like my life. I want to be in my life.
Experience it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I was really nervous because, I'm sure you've heard this before. You felt this at some point where you go, I don't know if I can stop drinking because there's always a reason to have a drink.
Wedding.
Yeah.
Birth of a kid.
Shit. Your favorite
weekend.
Your favorite show's on.
Right. Tuesday, 12:30.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. So there's always a reason. And you go, well, how am I going to deal with this? But then you stop drinking and you feel better and you go to your first concert and you don't get a drink. And, I went to, my girlfriend and I went to Justin Timberlake in San Diego.
Oh, man, that must have been awesome.
It was great. And I go, you know what? She stopped drinking 2 days before me, just randomly. I mean, we didn't plan it or anything. And so I was like, we might have a drink there. What the hell? But then when we drove to the concert and parked, it was really confusing on how to get there and what turns to take. So I'm like, well, I don't want to get drunk and have to drive this back to the hotel. So I'm like, I'm not going to drink.
That sounds very responsible.
Yeah, well,
something I wasn't capable of doing for a long time. Yeah.
Well, man, I have one DUI a million years ago, 27 years ago, maybe. I got a DUI, but boy, did I have 100 close calls.
Sure.
It's all that shit. It's like the fact that I'm not in jail or some shit. Like my old man had 8 DUIs.
Wow.
It's got to be some kind of record.
Yeah, it's up there. That's impressive.
And so
I like the dedication.
Yeah, his last DUI, he was a liquor salesman, which makes it even better.
Oh yeah.
But he cleaned out his sales van and put folding chairs and a little mini disco ball because he was kicked out of all the bars.
Yeah, he had to. So have it on the road with
him. He made his own bar, invited some friends, not friends, but when you're that much of an alcoholic, you don't really have friends. You have people that also want to drink. So he put him in the van and drove around with that shit, and then eventually got busted for 8th. But
isn't that a trip though? You see the show Cheers, like there's a whole show about it, right?
Right.
Or Norm, Cliff, and Diane, and everybody walks in after a long week and they're like, hey, Norm, Cliff, Diane.
Yeah.
But like, other than that, you wouldn't have any reason to be around these people, you know, aside from drinking. Like it's literally the one thing you have in common. Now, listen, it's life. So people are dealing with lifey stuff, and then the camaraderie, and sure, I'm sure they like each other, but normally wouldn't mix otherwise, right?
But I mean, you have a lot of people that never met Vera, Norm's wife, and they've never been to Norm's house.
Right. Or probably never will be.
Right. So it's not that true friendship. So I had some guys that I drank with a ton, and I was wondering, like, well, is this going to make it through not drinking? And it has. So luckily we did have that friendship. But there's been other guys that like, well,
yeah, don't need it. Don't invite Chad. He's not fun anymore.
Right. Yes.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I would say that like it doesn't have any bearing on having fun or not. It's just, I guess some people really like the whole debauchery portion of it, and like, you know, not interested in going to the strip clubs and drinking or doing, you know, all the things that the guys did back when we were younger. You know, that stuff, it's just not as appealing anymore when you become an adult and have that responsibility. Yeah,
I did love the fact that alcohol gives you a little bit of an excuse to be an idiot.
A little one.
Because when a 50-year-old man is drunk and they come in the room and they're acting a fool, and you can hear people go, he's drunk. But if I walk in and I'm just being an asshole and I don't have any booze, I mean, then it's like, well,
he's an asshole.
He's kind of fucking idiot.
Yeah. You know? So I don't want to be around him.
Right. Exactly. And so you get that little bit of I think probably that was part of the reason I drank a little bit, was to get that, you know, little buffer of, wow, he's drunk.
Yeah.
That's fine. But that's who I am.
But you're a comic too, so you're meant to say some things that are a little provocative on occasion, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I was never like too big of an asshole, but I was just like, you know, we went to China to film a documentary, and I was trying to stay awake because the time was just so different, and I was drinking Jager bombs to stay awake.
Those are gnarly.
Yeah. And then I ended up, it was raining, and there was a hill in Hong Kong that was so steep that they had escalators. So when it was raining, everyone took the escalators because the hill was pretty slippery. And so I went and I grabbed the lid off of a trash can. You know, I grew up in northern Minnesota, so sledding is where it's at. So I go, watch this, and I take off on this lid down the hill, and I don't realize it's so slick. It's like Christmas Vacation when it puts the Crisco on it.
Yeah.
I take off and I go, Tom Segura is getting a taxi at the bottom of the hill. He took the escalator down, and he's got his head in the window trying to say like, hey, we need to go across the bay to this hotel. And I just come screeching by into the road, and I have to reverse worm. There's a taxi coming. And as I push myself back, I can feel the wind of the taxi blow my hair. And so it would have killed me for sure.
Yeah.
And so and then I have holes in my shoes for trying to put the brakes on and all that shit. And it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. You're not young anymore. And I mean, not that would be a good thing to do when you're young, but still.
Yeah. It's just, you know, it's like, it gives you that freedom to be an idiot.
It's the same reason why, like, you know, like, I don't know about you, but I was raised, like, you just don't drink and drive. But when I had a couple in me, that sounds like the funnest thing in the world to do, right? Like, your judgment is just skewed. And you're not making good choices. And you could end up killing somebody. So thank God neither of us did that, right? And thank God you didn't get hit by that taxi. Because then you wouldn't be here right now.
I mean, I did the dumbest things. So I have a golf tournament that I host every year with buddies I grew up with.
Nice.
And we were talking about stories now that a couple of us are sober, and they brought up this story that I don't really remember until they brought it up. And we went to the gas station to get snacks. There were 7 or 8 cops. They had just met there for some reason. So we're all hammered and we're walking on our best behavior. But as soon as we leave, we go, well, all the cops are right there. So I take a left and I go down this street and I try to see if I can get up to 100 miles per hour in 6 blocks. But think about someone gets out of their car. You're going that fast, you hit a big pothole. Who knows?
I mean, a dog could dart in front of the car.
Exactly.
Like anything could happen, right?
Just embarrassing shit that I used to do.
Yeah, of course. I get it. You were talking about Jaeger bombs, and that brought back a memory. I have a guy that I went to, I didn't go to college, but I would go party at San Diego State when I used to work down there, and I would go visit him on the weekends, and he drank Jaeger bombs every single night for 4 years. He went into the doctor coming home from college because he said he just had like chest pains and stuff, and he was going to get checked out regularly. The doctor told him he had the heart of a 70-year-old. Like your heart, I mean, you're telling it one thing with the caffeine, and then you're telling it another thing with the booze, right?
Right.
It just doesn't mix. Like, that's kind of scary. Now, I don't know if that's something that can rejuvenate or not. I mean, he's still fine today.
I would think it has to come back.
But I would imagine when he told the doctor how much he drank and what they were, he was probably like, "You have the heart of a 70-year-old."
Yeah. Dude, when I smell Red Bull, I get heart palpitations.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can't even come near that shit anymore.
Yeah, I was a rock star and Jaeger guy for a little while there. But yeah, no, the hangovers from that was just terrible. It's just awful. You want to know why this podcast stuff looks so easy? It's because my folks over at Magic Mind hooked me up. This stuff is amazing. One shot all day long. I stay energized. I fire on all cylinders. I'm locked in. I'm not even going to lie. It has literally replaced my coffee. Go to magicmind.com right now. So I understand the whole concept of wanting to quit drinking just even for health reasons or just to feel better, to, enjoy life a little bit more. That sucks that you do have friends that kind of fell out a little bit though, huh?
Yeah, I mean, but they weren't friends.
Obviously.
Right?
Right? That's a good way to look at it.
It's like the people when you get a divorce and they say, well, we have to pick. It's like, well, you were obviously on the other side anyway.
That's the only conclusion you can draw at that point, right? Yeah, for sure. So tell me a little bit about what it was like growing up in Minnesota, and then what made you get into comedy and stuff.
Well, Minnesota was great, but I don't know anything other than that growing up, right? So fantastic, small little town, 13,000 people, great friends.
Cold.
Very cold, yep. I didn't drink in high school. I didn't drink until I was in freshman year of college.
Now, is that because your dad?
Yeah, I had a buddy, Matt Lang, who's the smartest guy I know still, but he goes, I didn't like the taste of it and the smell of it even. And so I was like, well, maybe if you mixed up Kahlua with some vanilla ice cream, I'd like it. And he was like, what are you doing? For what? And he goes, you know what? You have alcoholism in your family. I mean, it's a fool's errand to be drinking. So I didn't drink. And then, but then college, it was like, if you weren't drinking, then that was
the thing to do.
It was a different ball game because it was cold. So all winter you'd be at keggers and you'd be doing all this stuff. So started drinking then. And, man, I never felt the need to drink. So I'd wake up, some guys would have their hands shaking and stuff like that. I never had that shit. But when I drank. It was, you hear stories all the time where a doctor goes, how many days do you drink? And you go, 2 a week. And they go, how many drinks do you have? 40, 50? It's
like a suitcase of beer.
It's wildly inappropriate. I mean, I went up to, I had a buddy that went to school in Duluth, Minnesota at St. Scholastica, and they have a thing called Mayfest. And you go up there and it's this humongous party. And one of the days is case day. You see if you can drink a case of beer.
Jesus.
So everybody puts marks on their hand in case they forget how many beers they had. And so we went out to this place called Grandma's, is this dance club, whatever. And there was a circle of girls dancing, and they would not let any guys in. They were like, absolutely not. This is just ladies' night, whatever. And so we're drinking beer, marking them down. And I see one girl who is almost like her legs are doing jumping jacks. Like they're going wide, and then they're going back together. And so I time it, and I slide.
Oh, boy.
Right in between, and I break the chain. And so now, and they weren't mad. They were just like, okay, you got in. Now it's free for all. And so I black out, and I end up waking up the next day. I have 30 lines right here, and I have 6 lines right here. And I go, you guys let me have 36 beers? And they go, nope. That's your beer hand. That's your shot hand. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you must have not been feeling too great that morning.
I wasn't, but that's just how it went with me.
Yeah, I get it.
It's like, again, I could not drink and not have any problem with it. But once I had that drink, it was on as hard as I could.
Well, we talk about something called the phenomenon of craving, which is like, if you're an alcoholic of like my caliber, or just call it that, right? Like somebody that needed to stop drinking for sure, for not just health reasons, for all reasons.
Sure.
Once you introduce yourself to that drink, it's a mental compulsion almost, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a physical aspect to it, but really it's this mental draw to it where like you're restless, irritable, and discontent until you can get it again. I imagine the same thing like a crackhead, right?
Yeah, but because I didn't have the shakes and I didn't have that physical stuff, and I never saw a beer and was like, God, I gotta open that beer, I didn't think it was bad.
Sure.
So when you're saying like, it's bad, I didn't know it was bad. I thought it was just fun.
Well, there's every chance in the world that it sounds like you were a weekend warrior, right? I mean, we call them weekend warriors where you're not drinking during the week, you're handling your responsibilities, but like when you do drink, it's bad. Like you just go hard.
It's like that really the binge.
Yeah, the binge drinker
is what I would do.
That's a good way to put it.
And I got to tell you, I thought when I stopped drinking, I was like, oh, I'm going to be in the greatest shape ever. I eat so much sugar.
Well, that's what it is.
So much sugar.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. I can go weeks without having sugar. And then I go, well, I'm just going to have this popsicle because it's hot out and whatever. And I eat a box of popsicles. It's the same shit except with sugar.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, I go absolutely bonkers. That first sugar hits my tongue. I'm telling you, like when I don't eat sugar for weeks, it's no ketchup, no barbecue sauce.
It's strict.
None of that shit. Yeah. It's because I just don't need it. I don't feel like I need it. But once, it's like that Frank the Tank in Old School. Mm-hmm. Once it hits your lips.
It's so good.
I mean, that's exactly what it is. It was with booze that way and with now with sugar. And I don't know how I'm going to stop sugar. I can't stop everything.
No, that would be kind of a boring life. It's just this moderation that everybody tries to have, right? And
yeah, but how the fuck do you have that?
I don't have any moderation.
I was reading some stuff about Ozempic. I was doing this other podcast, and it's all the stories you hear. People are like, well, I never knew that you didn't have to think about food all the time or didn't have to think about sugar all the time. And I took this Ozempic and I felt normal for the first time. I started crying because I feel normal finally. And it's like, well, I don't know if I want to do that, but I'd love to not
eat a box of popsicles.
Yeah, no shit.
That's too funny. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, man. Listen, I can't, I'm probably big enough to where I qualify for an Ozempic, but I can't take that stuff. But it would be nice to know. I mean, listen, the way I see it is it's more about discipline today than it is about anything. Because like if they were to tell you, hey, we have this pill that cures alcoholism, I'd be like, can I get 20 of them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just how I am, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to be enough, right? I'm going to want to do more. So like the whole idea behind the discipline of things and, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, I don't beat myself up over like a little bit of sugar here and there or whatever it is, even though technically I should be much more strict than I am. Dude, if I can hit the bed pillow at night sober, I had a pretty good day.
Yeah, true.
And I know that doesn't sound like a big deal to a lot of people, but for somebody like myself, if I'm hitting the mark 6 out of 7 days and one of them I just don't get much done, but I didn't drink, it's still a solid day.
Absolutely.
Because I didn't screw my life up any further, right?
Right.
In the quiet hills of Marin County, there's a place where healing begins. A place where alcohol or drugs no longer control your life. At Live Oaks Wellness, we offer compassionate, client-centered care for those struggling with addiction. Our licensed drug and alcohol detox and residential programs are designed to help you take the first step toward recovery with a team that truly understands the journey. You don't have to walk this path alone. At Live Oaks, we're here to help you rebuild, restore, and reclaim your life. Take the first step today. Live Oaks Wellness. Healing starts here.
So your father, obviously, if he was a liquor salesman, that stuff must have been in your house too, like crazy, right?
It was nonstop. I mean, he had his extra stuff. He didn't want to always have to drive an hour to the warehouse. So he would have boxes of booze in our garage. And then I had guys that were probably 5-6 years older than me in the neighborhood. And they'd get me off the bus and they'd go, hey, man, leave your garage door unlocked tonight.
Yeah.
And I go, well, my dad's going to get fired. I can't do that. And they're like, do it or your ass is kicked. It's like, all right. So then I told him I would, and then it was locked still. And then next day pulled me off the bus and started lumping me up a little bit. But there were these 3 guys, the Hutchinson brothers. I'll never forget. They were so scary to anyone younger than them because they never really talked to you, and they just could rip. It looked like they could rip trees out of the ground with their hands.
Oh, Doyle rules.
Yeah, tree service. Yeah.
Right.
And so this one dude comes over. I never heard him talk one time. I heard the other 2 brothers a couple times, but never him. And all of a sudden, when you see like movie stunts, when they have the cable on the guy for an explosion and it pulls him back, that's what it looked like. These guys just started disappearing, and this dude had walked across the street and started throwing them off me. I never heard anything about it ever again.
That's awesome.
But there was booze everywhere, and everybody wanted to, hey man, can you get me some schnapps for the party? I was going to say, you were probably
the cool guy, but not cool if you couldn't deliver.
But
right?
I never did deliver because my mom would always say, if any of this goes missing, your dad's going to get fired and all this stuff. And
if he's a salesman, he was probably on the road a lot too, right?
Yeah, he was gone. I mean, I'd say home almost every night, except the weekends. But I think what would happen is, in order to sell the product, you'd have to bring it into the bar, drink it with the people,
right,
and have a good time with that product, because then the owner goes, oh shit, this is working. People want more of this.
Yeah, they like it.
Right. And so, I think he had to do that stuff. I don't know, all of it because I was a little kid,
but you would classify your dad as an alcoholic, essentially. So you grew up in somewhat of an alcoholic home then.
Yeah, he was an addict across the board. Gambling, drugs, alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah, anything that feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
At what point did you start comedy then? Like, did you always know that you wanted to be a comic?
I did. I knew since I was really little. I saw my grandpa listening to Bob Newhart records, and his shoulders were shaking, laughing, and I just thought, God, that's impressive that words can do that to another human being. So I wanted to do it forever, and when I did my first Comedy Central special, the half-hour thing that they give you, my mom brought over the questionnaire you get in kindergarten. What do you want to be when you grow up? And it said comedian.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so she showed me that, which I thought was really neat. It was misspelled, but that's fine.
Yeah, you were in kindergarten.
Yeah, and then I just wanted to do it forever. I emceed the homecoming coronation and anything I could. Bonfires, I'd get up and try to make my friends laugh, stuff like that.
And so none of that stuff you were nervous for?
No, I really loved it. I really loved the
attention.
Yeah.
I was going to say that could be an addiction in itself too, right?
I think so, because I got bad attention, right? My old man gets his 8th DUI, and this guy on the football team makes copies of the newspaper and posts it everywhere on my locker, in the football locker room, everywhere. And, so that sucks. So then you want to stick your head in the sand. But then if you're funny and can make people laugh and you can turn it into positive attention, well, of course.
Yeah.
And so that's all I ever wanted.
Yeah. So it became like a superpower. It was like your way of responding.
Yeah, I think so a little bit. And also, not to like piss and moan about my childhood, but when your parents are addicts, you're not getting the attention because you're losing to booze and drugs and gambling.
Yeah,
and
so you seek it elsewhere.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, what a better place than a room full of strangers to try to get them to laugh. So who knows?
You've been doing this for roughly, 30 years now almost?
Yeah, just under. So May 4th, 98 is my first open mic.
I love that you remember that.
Yeah.
That was a big day for you, I'm sure.
Huge day, yeah. I actually I got fired from Xerox, and they gave me a severance package, threw myself a retirement party, and then my buddies brought me to open mic and signed me up.
A retirement party at 21 years old.
Yeah.
Went into a new profession, and then here's life. So it's obviously been beneficial to you, right? You've been able to raise a family, it sounds like. You have kids?
Yeah, I have 2 kids. I have a 26-year-old son and a 21-year-old daughter. And that was, I think I wouldn't drink when I was home, right? My wife at the time would be like, hey, let's have some wine and some cheese. And I go, no, kids, better not. But then on the road, I would fucking turn it on.
Yeah, I can imagine. Do you ever get drunk before your shows?
Yeah. There was I was in Milwaukee one time, and I remember Kevin Brennan, super nice dude to me, but he was so mad at me at the end of the week. He goes, how the fuck can you get that drunk and remember your act? That's why I had to quit drinking.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't know, but I can. But even before I started drinking, I wouldn't drink before shows when I was headlining and actually really starting to blossom a little bit, because I didn't think it was fair. People pay their hard-earned money for tickets, and then all of a sudden I'm going to get up there drunk. That didn't make sense to me. So.
Yeah, no, that's good. I appreciate that sincerely. I mean, we've had some other comics on here as well, and that's usually the main question that I ask, because you look at people like, I use Ron White as an example, right? Because that guy will get blottoed on stage, or at least he used to. I think he might even be sober now.
I think so.
And that was part of his act, actually, right? It was almost like that's just who he was. He had a cigar and a scotch or whatever it was. Yep. And how they could remember the lines, I just don't know. I mean, it's beyond me, because I would be spaced out and would not be able to deliver. And if it's your primary source of income and you're not doing it just for fun,
sure,
you know, that's you got to take it a little bit more serious.
Well, that makes me wonder too about the alcoholic brain, where you go, all right, listen, I can do this. I can drink before a show as long as I don't mess up the act. And so then your brain focuses so hard because it knows the payday is getting to drink before the show. I don't know.
Well, no, I would answer yes to that. I think you're spot on. I think that anything that you do that will rationalize the behavior that you want, in that case, drinking, is, yeah, I mean, that's a form of it for sure, is rationalization. It's the same thing like where you say, oh, I need to drive my car. It's just down the street. Right? When you know, like it could be a DUI, but you're like, oh, it's just a mile or two down the road, or whatever it is. Like you'll always find a way to rationalize for it. And that's just, it is. I guarantee there's something in the brain about that.
Well, here's how fucking dumb I am. Speaking of down the road, is we got asked when we were in college to do training for the state troopers. You went in and they monitored your drinking. You would have a drink of exactly an ounce, whatever, vodka soda, something, and that for 1 hour, and then you would have 2 the second hour and 2 the third hour, and they would see how long you could pass the test. The only test you cannot pass is the eye test,
right? Because they skip.
Yeah, they flutter. Yeah. And so we passed forever and ever and ever, and then finally they go, all right, you're drunk. And it was, I mean, when we blew the breathalyzer, it was way up there.
Sure. And
then my buddy and I had parked 3 blocks away behind a building. As soon as we got out, ran to the car and drove. And it's like, we just failed a breathalyzer.
And a field sobriety test.
Yeah, and we're still like, we can fucking get away with this. I mean, I'm telling you, I should have been in jail a lot more than I was.
That's hilarious. I love that story.
It's just
you literally
idiots.
I mean, were there cops there?
Yeah, there were state troopers.
That's what I thought. I was going to say, if they had the breathalyzers, right? I mean, it was an experiment, and then you drove home from the experiment.
So it was training for new state troopers, but a bunch of state troopers were there helping them.
And they didn't make sure you got home. That's shame on them a little bit too, though, right?
Well,
they should have called you a cab.
Well, yeah, that's true. But you had to sign this paper that said, "Yep, someone will pick you up at this time," and blah blah blah. So we were like, "All right, our ride's here. Run outside."
And that doesn't apply to me.
Yeah, right.
That's good for everybody else, but me, I'm just right down the street.
Yeah.
Yep.
We are in the midst of the worst drug crisis in U.S. history.
The CDC has named fentanyl, deadliest drug in the United States.
The drug is fentanyl.
My name is Jeremy, and I'm a recovering fentanyl addict. I've overdosed more times than I can count. I believe I was revived so I could carry the message to the addict that still suffers. Silence makes you complicit. You either recover loudly or you die quietly. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to help you save your own life.
Learn more at recoverordie.org.
So what would you say is like some of the best moments of your career thus far that you, or how about, let's start with the last 16 months then. I want to hear more about the sobriety portion of it.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I was, April, May, June. So I was 3 months into sobriety when my Netflix special came out, first one.
Mm-hmm.
And
congratulations.
Oh, thanks. And, it was fun being able to enjoy it sober. Oh, I started this before, but you go to a concert sober, right? You get that first one out of the way. You go to a wedding and dance. That's hard for me.
Sure. Dancing would be tough.
I'm a bad dancer. And so to do it sober sucks because you feel like everyone's watching you dance so poorly. And then you do a bunch of stuff, right? So, and it's hard at first, but eventually you realize that you get to soak all of this in. Mm-hmm. So I did the Fully Loaded tour with Bert Kreischer.
Oh, that must have been amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. And Jelly Roll was on it. And so I'm up on stage, arm around Jelly Roll, singing an Otis Redding song to thousands, 10,000 people. And I have good friends up there, my girlfriend's there, and it's like, why would I want to be drunk for this?
No, that's a bucket list moment.
You have to enjoy this for what it is. You have to be sober for this. And so now it was hard, right? Because I was no fun for a while.
Yeah.
Because you go, well, how am I going to be fun without booze? And then eventually you realize that you can actually be more fun because you're actually in it. You remember everything. Everything you're saying is genuine instead of boozed over.
Yeah. Once you start to realize that and you're able to soak in those things, it does take a while to condition your brain to start looking for the stuff, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can imagine that must have been crazy. Yeah. Jelly Roll would be an amazing guest on the show, I think, at some point. Hopefully we can get him.
Absolutely.
Do you have any Jelly Roll stories?
He is what you see online. You know, some guys have that online persona. He just is a very nice dude, down to earth, hangs out after the shows, you know, kind of, he sets up a little tent and then chairs in a circle and everybody's hanging out telling stories. And it's a blast. And when my Netflix special came out, I asked him, I said, do you think you'd be willing to do like some promo for it? And he was like, yeah, man, when do you want to do it?
Super cool.
Yeah. It's just like, he's just there hanging out, just being one of the dudes, which he is in the grand scheme of things, right? Everybody is just one of the dudes.
I get a little starstruck, right? Like I'm not used to having people that I see on TV in our studio. You know, it's not something that I see every day. So like being able to watch your Netflix special or do that and then have to like meet you and stuff. I mean, this is all still fairly new to me.
Yeah, sure.
It is kind of cool though, because once you do meet them, the ones that are cool, right? You realize that they're just another human being as well. And that's probably been the funnest thing about this. You know, I've met Jim Norton. I've met Jeff Dye. I've met Bobby Kelly. There's just so many comedians that have been, Rich Voss, that was fun. I mean, just fun comedians that are just super down to earth guys, and they just actually want to hang out sometimes. And it's like, honestly, if you lived out here, we'd probably hang out, you know?
Yeah, right.
You know, and that's the coolest part about this is like trying to see, because I think a lot of our viewers at least are tuning in because they see the big names, which is kind of, you know, our idea behind this thing, which is like, hey, there's very successful people that don't drink. You know what I mean? Like that's an attractive thing. So we're trying to draw attention to that.
Well, it's really fun to be here and to add to what you said. It's like I have buddies that think sometimes that they're, you know, king shit for something they've done. And I always go, you know, drink, right? Well, booze will get you no matter who you are.
Yep.
Or swim a mile out into the ocean and see how awesome you are, right?
Yeah, no.
It's like you realize how small you are when you start thinking like that.
Yeah, yeah. That's good perspective to have. I like that. I'm going to use that, actually, if you don't mind.
Oh, please do.
Swim out and see how special you are.
Yeah, 1 mile into the ocean.
Everybody's the same at that point.
No shit.
Does your comedy, you think, get better as a result of being sober?
I do.
Okay.
Because you know, I think it's in the details where you're drunk, you remember, oh, this funny thing happened, I'll tell this story. But when you're sober, the details are so much better because it's like you're looking at everything through a magnifying glass and you remember it all. And so I do. Now, for some people, you know, I'm not trying to say like, hey, everybody, get sober, your jokes will be funnier. I have no idea. For me, that is what happened.
Yeah.
You know, I put a little more care into them and I don't, you know, I'm just not. When I came in here, I said, well, I got sober because I was in a bad mood and I wanted to sleep better. But the truth is, there's a lot of good things that happen because of it, you know, and stand-up is one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure it probably helped your marriage too, huh? Especially if your wife's sober now too?
Well, yeah, girlfriend, yeah.
Oh, girlfriend.
Yeah, well, no,
yeah.
That's okay. But when she hears wife, she's going to be like, well, he thinks so. How about we do this?
We'll edit that out.
No, it's all right. But yeah, I mean, everything is better. Like I said, when I would drink, I would get grumpy and, you know, bring up shit I shouldn't bring up. I'm a real bring up the past guy when I drink.
Oh.
I'm one of those assholes.
Yeah, the scorekeeper.
Yeah. Oh, no kidding. Yeah. And it's helped me with that too. Because it's like, again, you are here. You are happy in this reality. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Why make it worse?
Quit bringing up 10 years ago. I didn't even know the person.
Yeah, exactly. Any challenges that you faced as a result of getting sober, aside from losing the friends that weren't really friends? Do you think it affected anything negatively?
I don't think so. I mean, I will tell you, I told you I was on that Fully Loaded tour sober, and it is a drunk fest.
I was going to say Bert Kreischer goes nuts.
Yeah. And so sometimes, I was sober. So once everybody started getting, I have a rule, right? With my friends in Mesquite and also with comics, it's like once you get drunk, once I get spit on from 3 different close talkers, I'm going to bed.
I like that rule.
Because when people get drunk, right, it's like right here and it's ah, ha, 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 and laughing through what they're saying. And once I feel 3 different specs, I'm out.
That's a lot of patience. I'm pretty sure one would do it for me.
Yeah.
At least an elbow to the throat after that. Something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep it in your mouth.
That's so funny.
So I would go to bed early sometimes on that tour, and then who knows what you missed, all the fun, because then the next day you'd be like, oh shit, we were on the bus till 4 a.m. And you go, God, maybe I should have stayed up.
Yeah, but honestly, I'm not sure you would have appreciated it, honestly.
Right.
Like, it sounds fun when they're telling the stories the next day, like the drunkalogs, and it sounds all fun, but that's through a drunk person's lens too, right? Or somebody that's getting high's lens, which maybe isn't that funny at all, because I realized being around drunk people, I'm like, I want to leave as soon as humanly possible, like get me away from these people. And it's not for any other reason than I can't appreciate the fun that they're having. That's not the kind of fun I have.
Sure. Yeah.
Somebody told me, one of the comics that we had on recently, they said, comics is like an art, right? So artists never retire. So there's probably not going to be a retirement, but I imagine, I don't know, at some point you want to travel the globe or maybe do some things
Well, I don't know who that comic was, but I will tell you that my financial advisor knows to call me the day I hit a certain number, because bye. I'm out. I'm going to enjoy life. I say that now, and who knows if I'll be able to do it.
Of course.
Because I do really love stand-up. But I think, my kids are getting older, so eventually I assume I'm going to be a grandpa.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. And so keep doing stand-up. Just kind of keep living how I'm living right now. As far as sobriety goes, though, I always tell people, my sobriety isn't court-ordered. So I go, who knows if I'll drink again? And I used to say that up until a year. But now I go I can't imagine a time I would need to drink.
Right.
But so when you start getting sober, you go, there's always a day to drink. And now you go, well, there's never a day to drink.
It would have to be one of the most craziest exceptions, right? It'd be like a $1 billion wine that, there's only one bottle of it in the world. And and you'd still probably only just want to sip just to know or something.
I think I might just smell it.
Maybe just
I'm such a bitch when it comes to being competitive.
Okay.
That I go I don't want to lose. Because I've thought of a bunch of scenarios. I've thought about, so my son is married. I drank at his wedding. It was in Mexico. And then I go, well, now does that mean I have to drink at my daughter's wedding? Do I have to toast her? And I go, no, she's not going to make me do that.
You could still hold it up. Doesn't mean you have to drink it.
Yeah, she knows how happy I am sober. And I thought about the end of the world, like an asteroid's coming towards you. Do you drink? And I go, well, I kind of want to be sober for that too. I want to know what it...
Yeah, that would be like wasting the moment, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. I used to always say that I will probably drink again, but I think I was just getting people off my back maybe.
Yeah.
And now I go, I don't think I will.
That's actually really cool. I like the perspective around that. And I think that whether somebody is struggling with it or not, listen, it is a poison, right? It is. That's why it has the effect that it does. And it's just not a healthy thing. And something that the older you get, all you're doing is asking for cancer quicker. You're asking for hangovers the next day. You're asking for all that stuff. That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But you brought up your kids, and I appreciate that. So they know you're sober. Mm-hmm. Do you see any alcoholism traits in your kids at all?
Well, it's tough to say. My daughter's 21.
Right. She just turned legal age.
So she's going out to the bars and she'll call me and she'll be like, I puked last night. And I'll be like, who was there? Can you please be careful? But the stories I have, I mean, they're not even close to the stories I have yet. So I think if they start telling me those stories, I might worry.
Yeah.
My son has Lyme's disease. And so he's got a bunch of arthritis and joint pain. And so he, smokes weed for the pain and all that stuff. And I go, it's hard to argue because you go like, well, hey man, I can't feel your pain. I don't know what it's like. But sometimes he gets real high and I go, do you have to be that high for the pain? Like, how much fucking pain do you have to be that high? That's insane.
To where you're stuck on the couch.
Yeah. Like the pain you're going to have is me dropping you when I try to carry you outside.
Yeah. That's seriously.
Throw you in the lake.
You're going to injure an ankle there for sure. That's hilarious. Is your son thinking about taking into comedy as well?
No, he went to school for coding.
Oh, smart.
And so
smart
now he's got his own company doing websites and stuff like that.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
You'll have to give me his business card after. I'm always looking for people like that.
All
yeah.
right.
So much smarter. I mean, I'm sure the money's probably more, right? If you're good at it.
Yeah, I would think. I mean, he doesn't like selling. So he just partnered up with somebody that's going to do the selling, and he's really excited about it. But he
gets to create in his own way, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I love the bit you did about the plates. An immigrant came over from a country with 12 plates. And then
So we went to a former Miss Nebraska's house when we were at the Johnny Carson All-American Festival or something in Nebraska. We go to her house. She hosts the end of the event party, the wrap party. And we go in and she's got 3 plates on her wall. And so what happened was, we asked her about it. What happened was her mom left Europe with 12 plates. Her mom got to America and had 4 kids, so they all got 3 plates. And then miraculously, all 4 of the kids had 3 children of their own, so they all get a plate.
Wow.
And then my buddy knocked the plate off the wall with his backpack and it broke. And the lady was crying. And then my son goes, God damn it, Phil, now she's going to have to kill one of her kids. And then the lady goes, she started laughing and she goes, oh, I like you. You're funny. And he goes, do you like me enough to let me pick which kid?
Were the kids there?
No, we only saw pictures of them.
Okay, I was going to say, so he doesn't know the kids,
right.
But that would have been even funnier.
It would have been a random draw,
right?
Yeah.
He'd be like, get Mark. I hate Mark. That's hilarious. I was going to say, because with bits like that and with wit like that, he could probably do this, right?
I think so. I think he would have done a nice job. And I asked him a couple times. I don't work in the summer normally. Mm-hmm. And so I said, if you want, I will book a tour of places you want to go and we can go around and you can open for me and you can tell stories about me since I have told so many stories about you.
Yeah.
And you can just throw me under the bus. And he thought about it for a little bit and then decided he didn't want to do it because touring is a lot.
Yeah, I don't know how people do it. I wouldn't want to live out of a suitcase. I don't know how people are travel salesmen anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff sounds terrible to me.
Yeah.
I don't like that idea at all. We were talking about living in a nice house and having your stuff. Why would I go anywhere? Mm-hmm. That's I'm not a big traveling guy. Plus, like, the airports drive me nuts.
Yeah.
So if you don't work during the summer, then you're out here. Is it to visit your daughter?
Yeah, she's but I won't see her this trip.
Oh, that's too bad.
But I'm just kind of in and out for this. Okay. But also, I'm here tonight, so I can't wait. We drove in, and by the way, the driver is such a cool dude.
Oh yeah, Stefanos.
He opened up the moonroof in
the Golden Gate.
Yeah, so you could see it was wild, man. He's like such a great guy, and everybody knows him at the hotel. Everybody's like, hey, he's like the norm.
Oh yeah,
he's the norm.
Yeah, Norm Clifton. Yeah, everybody cheers.
Yeah, exactly. And so, so he told me all these cool spots to go. So I'm going to walk around, and I'm just going to make a day because I've come to San Francisco all the time, but being across the bridge, I've never been here.
Oh yeah, you get to go through Robin Williams Tunnel.
Oh shit! All right.
Yeah, that was the tunnel that you went through as you come over the bridge. And that's called Robin Williams Tunnel.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Robin Williams used to live out here, and he used to frequent some of the 12-step meetings out here. Okay. Yeah, I guess I probably shouldn't have said that. It's probably breaking anonymity, but he was very open about it as well.
Yep.
Yeah, but legendary comedian, right?
I got to tell you, so I moved out to California when I was 21. and I'm standing in line to
what part? LA?
Yeah, down by LA. Rancho Cucamonga is where I was staying.
Nice.
And I didn't even know that was a place. I was like,
I thought that was just in a movie and it was made up.
Yeah, it sounds like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle would say it.
Right.
And so I'm living there, and I'm signed up to be an extra in this extra company, and so I'm going to do this movie. It's called Father's Day with Robin Williams, Billy Crystal, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Oh my God.
I know. And so I'm waiting in line, and I see this guy who he's got an out-of-state license too. And I go, all right, another out-of-stater, huh? We end up becoming best friends. We're best men in each other's weddings.
That's cool.
So that's where we meet. But Billy Crystal was sick and had to go back to his trailer, so production stopped. And Robin Williams stayed out and talked to everybody. And at one point, I got to do a little interview with him because he was signing things. And so I had him sign a $1 bill. And I interviewed him as Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh.
And the way he just ran with it, that dude, I mean, he made everyone so happy. It is just really, really a bummer that he didn't get to feel all of that happiness.
Yeah, I see a lot of quotes about that all the time too. It's like some of the people that are out there making the most people happy just are suffering in silence.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
This segment of the Pull Podcast is brought to you by Heartwood Home Detox. Podcasting on the middle of somewhere. What is that all about? Can you tell me about that?
Yeah. So my buddy Cy Amundsen and I, we would call each other every week and just catch up, because I was living in northern Minnesota and he was down in Minneapolis at the time. And we would just we'd be on the phone for an hour and we'd be laughing the whole time.
Sure.
And so finally I just go, hey, we should record this. Let's record this. And so we ended up doing that, and we've been on, 5-6 years maybe now doing it. Really fun still. Love catching up with him. Sometimes he'll call me and start to tell me a story and I have to ruin it. And I go, no, man, you got to save it. You got to save it for the show. And so he's like, well, we're friends still, right? And I go, yeah, but come on, save it for the show. So that ruined it a little bit. But, and then I have one with my girlfriend, Kelsey Cook, who's also a comedian, and It's called Pretend Problems. And that is just us kind of talking about relationship stuff. And then we have people write in with questions, and that's been a blast.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah.
Wait, fielding them, do you field the questions live on the show?
We do. So I don't see them before. She has to see them because she gathers the questions.
Right.
But I don't see them before. And we, I got to tell you, I'm really surprised by this. We have created this really cool community where there was one guy that wrote in, and he's like, we had our first son, and then we had twins, and we were like, we're done. And then she accidentally got pregnant again and had twins again.
Jesus.
So 5 kids within 4 years or something. And they're like, we can't really go out because it's so much money to get babysitters and all this stuff. And then somebody else wrote in and goes, you know what? I just came into some money. I'm going to give this couple $500 for babysitters so they can go have a date and stuff like that. So it's become this little community where, I never even dreamed it would come to that, but it's been really fun.
That's what it's all about, honestly. And that's what we're trying to create here too, is a community where people can actually talk and process things that maybe, are a little taboo for average people, I guess you would say. But
Sure.
That's really cool too, because everybody kind of needs help sometimes, right? Especially if things aren't planned or whatever.
Yeah, right.
I mean, $500, what a nice little gesture that is.
No kidding. It's just people helping people.
That's it. At its core, that's one of my favorite things. And literally one of the reasons why I'm able to do what I do today, which is just stay sober and try to help people. Honestly, I never thought that life would be that simple, but that's really the essence of life, is just, not being a dick, and maybe helping somebody and putting something positive back into the stream of life, I
can't remember where I read this, but it was, we're all just here to help each other cross the finish line. And I thought that was great.
Yeah. Your gifts are for others,
Yeah.
right? Sort of like your comedy is for other people. So you bring joy to people through your comedy. Although sometimes it's dark and cynical, right?
It can be.
Yeah. How do you balance that? What does that look like?
Well, I don't think you can have a full hour of dark and cynical.
No, that would be rough to watch.
Right. But you also can't have a full hour of cheerful and happy-go-lucky. It has to ebb and flow, or it doesn't make sense. The hardest I've ever laughed is at a funeral. Somebody told me a joke at a funeral, and I was just absorbing all this pain and choking down my tears the entire time. So when I got to laugh, goddamn. But I think with comedy, you have to be down here for some of it to then go up here.
Agreed.
Although, because if you're in one spot, even if it's high, it's still a flat line.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's good. I don't appreciate that kind of comedy.
No, you kind of want to feel, like if I go to a show, I kind of want to feel all the emotions a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, certainly you're there to laugh, that primarily,
Right.
but there's different ways to make people laugh, right? And you can be real about it, and you can, what is your writing process like? What is that like for you? Do you like take notes over a period of weeks and then gather material, or do you actually sit down and write?
It's a little bit of all of the stuff. So I will keep notes, and then I'll go on stage with it and try to riff off the cuff. Sometimes that works because then you're getting live feedback. So you hear people laugh and you go, all right, that's a keeper. And you go, I wonder if I can push them a little further this way. That's a keeper. If I don't know a lot about what I want to talk about, then I'll have to go research it and sit down and actually write some stuff out.
Right.
So
Do you find yourself inspired every day, or do you get writer's block and like everybody else, or?
yeah, I don't push it. Right.
Okay.
I experienced this thing one time where I couldn't remember somebody's name because I had it in my head as I was telling the story, and they go, who was it? And I go, oh, I don't know anymore. And it went deep into my brain. And then 2 nights later, I was laying in bed and I just yelled the name out.
Yeah.
And so
Hopefully not during sex.
yeah. Michael Jordan.
She's like, excuse me?
Yeah. No, you're the GOAT. That's what I meant. Yeah, so now I know that when I feel writer's block coming on, I just go, you know what? I'm not chasing it.
Yeah.
It'll come back.
Go for a walk, come back, do
Yeah.
something else,
Yeah.
just switch gears.
Yeah.
I love that idea of switching gears. Man, I do that all the time too, where I'm just like, I'm not being very productive. I'm going to go take 30 minutes and just go chill or read a book or do something.
Mm-hmm.
Unload the dishwasher is like my most popular thing, right? Because
Yeah.
somehow I always have dishes in the dishwasher.
But
that I
it's
need to unload.
zen. It can be zen.
It is, but it's, it's the switching of the gears and then jumping back into something else later. And I can only imagine people that have to get up and do an hour-long special for Netflix. That must have been a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. It's like you're running the hour for 8 months to a year. Like, I mean, you're still trying to craft it and make sure it's what you want it to be. But it was, I didn't feel a lot of pressure because I was so excited to get this story out. So what happened was in Madison, Wisconsin, a few years ago, I recorded 2 specials in one night. And then Netflix bought one of those. But then I had this other story that was percolating in my head about dropping my daughter off at school, being an empty nester, starting this new relationship, because I didn't date my daughter's senior year because I didn't want to split attention.
Interesting.
And so it was all of that. And it was like, a lot of times you hear couples that are together, parents that are together, they go, yep, we're empty nesters. Now we can finally start living again. And they're excited about it. But I was at the time by myself. And so my daughter going to school, I'm like, well, fuck, now what do I do?
Now I'm alone.
Yeah. So it was a little more painful than that couple that's together.
Yeah.
And so I was excited to tell that story. And then I asked Netflix, I go, I know you bought this one, but can you just wait until I have this one done and look at it? Because I'd like this one to go on there. And then that's what they did.
So you actually had them wait. That must have been a difficult decision. I would have been like, you want to buy this one? Let's do it.
I really wanted this one to be the first one on their platform.
There's going to be a lot more people viewing it probably than some of your other stuff, right?
Yeah, best foot forward.
Right.
Kind of
So
situation.
it's like you want to deliver.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like the knockout blow.
Yeah, and I was really proud of that one, and I was definitely more like emotionally attached to it. So I felt like, well, maybe, and plus maybe some people want to hear about this. Maybe there's other single parents that just sent somebody off.
Yeah. Well, I imagine that's a very common thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
With your girlfriend also being in comedy and then doing a show together too, sounds like, like a no-go, right?
Yeah, it did at one point. So the comedy stuff, it doesn't, because we have different goals and aspirations and whatever else. So that we're not competing against each other in that. When it came to the podcast, I would bring up, so now we have a rule. We have a rule that we can't talk about something on the podcast unless we both feel it has been resolved beforehand. Because I was bringing up stuff
Still fresh.
that we were arguing about, and it wasn't resolved. And then she felt like, well, we're airing our dirty laundry. And I go, who fucking cares? That's what this is for.
Right.
We want people to feel that. And she goes, well, I'm not comfortable until we have it resolved. And I go, all right, yeah, that makes sense.
It does, right? It's kind of like putting gasoline on a fire.
Yeah, we don't have to argue about this in front of these people.
Yeah, we can resolve it and then make jokes about it.
Right, exactly. And it makes sense. But at first I'm like, no, it's so relatable. People will love it. And she's like, oh, I fucking hate it.
Yeah, yeah. Where'd you guys meet?
We met. She used to have a web series online called Wrists of Fury. So she's a professional foosball player.
Wow.
So is her dad, and her mom is in the International Foosball Hall of Fame. Like, her mom is the top lady of foosball. She's the queen.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't either. I'm like, you mean the game we play when we're drunk at the bowling alley? That's like, there's an International Hall of Fame, but there is, and it is legit. And so I've been to some tournaments with my girlfriend, and I didn't know people were that
rips.
good. I mean, everybody rips. She was so good. I've never seen her that focused. And then there was this young kid, 18 years old. He's hitting it as hard as you and I could hit a ball, but then catching it with the bar 3 bars up. It's unbelievable. And so she had a show where she would have other comedians on, or other, actors, whatever it is. And she would play them. But then there was all this stuff. She'd spin like a bingo ball container, and she'd pull something out and it'd say, okay, I have to play crosshand, or I have to play backwards, or whatever. And she'd still beat you.
Jesus.
It was insane. So we met there. She was married at the time. I was in a relationship. So it really was just like, hey, what's up? Then after it aired, a bunch of people were like, how long have you guys been dating? This chemistry is outrageous. Didn't think anything of it. And then probably 2 years, a year and a half later, she was no longer married. I was single. She heard about that and got a hold of me and was like, do you want to try and see if they're right?
Wow.
And I was like, let's do it.
Hell yeah. And it's been nothing but peaches and cream since?
Something like that.
Dandelions and roses? What's the saying? I don't know. It hasn't been all uphill.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
No, it's great. And again, it's like not drinking. I'm just a more pleasant person to be around.
Yeah.
I wish I wasn't such a bitch, because I had fun when I was drinking. But when it turns you into a grump, I mean, there's no reason.
Nobody wants to be around that. And at some point, your excuse, right? Because you always talked about how you felt like having alcohol in your system was like, oh, he's just drunk, right? Mm-hmm. At some point, people are like, no, that's just who he is, right? Because you can't, you can apologize for it like once or twice, maybe, and have a little bit of grace given to you. But other than that, like, people are like, no, don't invite him.
Yeah, now it's a habit.
Yeah.
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 And then I want to say too on here that every time I'm saying like, well, I don't drink because this did this and blah, blah, blah. I don't judge anybody for drinking. Anything like that, do what you need to do. I'm just telling you, for me, it was the best thing I could have done. Yeah,
there's absolutely never any judgment. Listen, At the end of the day, people have the ability to make their own decisions, right? But for some of us, it's very apparent that it's not something that's sustainable. So, that was my story, and, I'm grateful to be on the other side of it, but, it's still a daily thing for sure. Still a daily thing. I also really wanted to ask more about, like, have your kids met your girlfriend?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. And it's good relationship, all that?
Yeah. Yeah. It took a while, but it's great now.
Okay.
But, it's weird to have somebody come into your dad's life when he hasn't had anyone there, so those relationships are so tight.
But they end up being more like friends, right? They're more like friends than they are just with an age difference.
This isn't a stepmom situation.
Right. Yeah. She's not reprimanding them on things.
My kids are grown people.
Right.
So, it's going to end up being more like, won't call her mom. They'll call her her name and whatever. But we all get along, and it's been great. But it was touch and go at first, especially with my daughter. And now everything's been. And you know what? I do think that me being sober, and I've been in therapy for 7 years.
Yeah.
And me being able to sit down and have an actual conversation about my feelings without being passive aggressive, without being shitty. I think that's helped a ton with everything. No,
I can imagine communication. I know for me, communication has gotten a lot better, right? like when people actually say things, I actually can listen and hear them now, which I probably wasn't absorbing all the time when I was under the influence, because it's like, oh, they're just moving their mouth again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's probably the way it was taken.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, I shouldn't do that. And then you look at your behaviors and you course correct, right? Mm-hmm. And so I don't know, this whole thing, I don't know about you, but for me, it's really just trying to become a better person every day, you know, whether that's professionally, whether it's personally, whether it's whatever. Like I've grown to really enjoy just self-development in general, right? Like doing things I've never tried before, experiencing life at a whole nother level, all these things that sobriety gives you as a result of, like, you know, allowing to be present. I know, quote unquote present, right? It is a cliche term and it's a little bit annoying, but it does describe it properly.
Yeah, it does.
It absolutely describes it properly. So then professionally though, what do you have on the, are you going on tour again soon?
Yeah, I'll be on tour. September 12th is when it starts. I'll be down in Austin, Texas, and I will, then I go to San Diego after that, bunch of places, but it's now it's packed. So I don't work in the summer, but I really work
9 months
from September to May. And my daughter will be graduating. Oh my God. So I'll have to have that off for that. And then in December, I will be recording a new hour.
That's awesome.
Yeah, in Salt Lake City.
Where can people follow you? Are you on?
I'm all over. It's just thatchaddaniels.com, because this kid out here in San Francisco, there's a younger Chad Daniels that beats me to everything.
Really?
Always has.
Huh.
Yeah.
Fucking Chad, dude.
Bro, give it up.
We should try to get a hold of him while you're here.
Yeah. You think I want to have to tell people my Gmail is that Chad Daniels? I sure don't.
Yeah.
Oh God.
As long as it's not the other Chad Daniels, right?
Yeah. Well, I probably should have done that. It sounds better.
You also did a bit that's hilarious about your mom, where her name's Karen and your name's Chad.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. I was dying with that one.
Yeah.
Like everywhere you go, it's like she's a Karen and you're a Chad. Mm-hmm. The only thing that would have been worse, me and Jesse were talking before the show, is like if your name was Boomer. You know, because then you got a Karen and a Boomer. It's so good. Well, listen, make sure to check out that Chad Daniels.
Yep.
Whenever you can, and go see him when he's on tour. We appreciate you being on the show very much, sir.
Thanks for having me. This is a really great thing you guys are doing.
Yeah, thanks for coming.